Welcome to the Entrepreneur Strategies Podcast, where we teach you how to scale your wealth, health, and family well-being. And today's episode is going to be a little bit different. Typically, I would have an entrepreneur on the show. We would be talking about their story, how they got to where they are, some of the challenges that they overcame, how they're really able to manage both the business and their family and their health in their personal lives. And so I really want to emphasize that part today, particularly, again, going back to what the show is all about. In my journey of working with entrepreneurs, I'm a certified financial planner. I own a financial planning company that works specifically with business owners. And what I found to be most striking for me personally, as well as for entrepreneurs, is how hard that balance is of really being able to uh, scale and grow a company, but also while being mindful of their presence around their family, their presence around their personal health. Oftentimes, it's so hard to manage those three different items together. And so, all of them are very integral to us as business owners, for one. For two, it's also important to remember why we're growing our companies to begin with. And really, that's to enjoy time with our family, to be able to have the health, to be able to play with our kids, and to be able to go to ball practices with our kids and whatever it may be. But all three of those together really catapult your life when you have that balance. And so I found it so interesting that so many entrepreneurs, including myself, struggle with that so much. And so I just wanted to send that as a reminder of what the show really is about. And so in today's episode, we're just going to be doing something a little bit different. I'm going to be filling in some gaps when, we had the holidays here just recently. But in addition, entrepreneurs are busy. And so we can't always have an entrepreneur on the show. And so I figured I'd fill in the gap by helping entrepreneurs figure out how to scale their financial lives as well, how they can maximize the business so that they can benefit financially on a personal level, which those things would then really help you be able to drive that time with your family, drive that personal health. Because when you feel that financial security in your business, oftentimes you might want to pump the brakes just a little bit to be able to actually do what you set out to do, which was enjoy your life. And so today's episode, we're going to be talking about some different financial tips, a lot of questions that I receive as a certified financial planner and the owner of LifePoint Financial Design. And we're going to talk about what those important financial questions are and be able to help you implement those in your business so that you can be on that journey a little bit faster, a little bit better, a little bit more efficient. So I'm also, for those of you that are actually watching this episode, I'm going to go ahead and apologize in advance for the new office. I haven't quite got my new home office set up yet. That's on the bucket list. Again, as an entrepreneur, oftentimes our personal lives fall to the wayside. But one of the things I want to do is to be able to transform this new office into something that looks like a great podcast room. And as well as a gym, because it's right now doubling up as a gym as well. Today, we're going to dive into retirement plans. So often I get questions from my business owner clients, and they're looking for what is the best retirement plan to benefit me personally as the business owner, benefit the business and possible employees, and be able to save the most amount that they can on their taxes and be able to put the most away for retirement so they can enjoy their lives, hopefully at an earlier age rather than later. And so we're going to talk about the various different types of retirement plans that small business owners often employ, and which ones might be the right ones for you, some of the pros and cons to each one. So I'm going to also be sharing my screen. So for those of you that are actually watching on the YouTube channel, it's Mike Metzger, CFP. You're going to be able to see a PDF that I'm going to put up that really displays the pros and the cons. And if anyone wants a copy of the PDF that kind of explains the pros and cons to each small business employer plan, then feel free to DM me on Instagram at _Mike Metzger, or you can send me an email at mike@lifepointfd, as in lifepointfinancialdesign.com. So there's really several different kinds of retirement plans that make sense. There's some that you can also adopt that are usually a pretty big time waster for a lot of people. And one of those is called the simple IRA. So today we're not going to be talking about a simple IRA because it's actually not very simple at all. And as well as it's not very flexible. You can't put much money into them. And there is a requirement, very strict requirements on employee contributions And that's not always what small business owners are looking to do. So we're going to be talking about the SEP IRA. We're going to be talking about the solo 401k, or small business 401k. And we're going to be also talking about a safe harbor 401k and a traditional 401k. So there's really four options there for a lot of business owners. And it's really dependent upon how many employees do you have? Do you have employees at all? So I work with a lot of sole, well, not necessarily sole proprietors, but I would say sole business owners. And typically, they may have 1099s that aren't technical employees, or they may have employees that are working under 20 hours a month. And if that's the case, for instance, like virtual assistants, and if that's the case, then a solo 401k is typically a very great option. If you're a small business owner just starting off, it may be the SEP IRA. Now, the SEP IRA is also good if you have employees, but with the SEP IRA, you don't have to pay the administrative costs. Maybe you aren't really concerned about getting that maximum contribution in. And then in that case, a SEP IRA is a good option. But I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. We're going to look at a document here. And for those of you that are watching, if you're not watching right now, you can easily just go find me on YouTube, and you can take a look at this particular document. But let's see if I can get it on here. And with this, we're going to go through each one of these different retirement plans. We're going to figure out which one's the best one for you. So with SEP IRAs, who can adopt those? Well, any employer. So you don't have to be a sole business owner. You can have employees. You don't have to have employees. It's really eligible for any employer. And with a SEP IRA, you're going to be able to contribute up to 25% of compensation, or $69,000 in totality. So it's really significantly better than just, say, a traditional 401k, where maybe you're on the employee side. You can only contribute up to $23,000 in 2024. In 2024, with the SEP IRA, though, you can contribute to the lesser of 25% of your total compensation, or $69,000, whichever one is the lesser. So let's say if you're making, $400,000, that $69,000 is a pretty good contribution to be able to get in tax free. And again, that's a reduction on your taxes because you're reducing down your income by that $69,000. So if you're in the 35% federal and state tax bracket in total, then you would take that $69,000, give or take, and you would multiply that by the 35%. That's going to show you how much you're going to save in taxes by contributing the max to a SEP IRA. So a lot of benefit there. If you do have employees, you can contribute to it, or you have to contribute to it. The employees are limited to ages 21 and over, and with service of 3 of the prior 5 years and earning at least $750. So the employee has to earn $750. They have to be over 21, and they had to have been in service in employment for you in 3 of the past 5 years to be able to contribute. So that's where you can limit employees. You can maximize the employer contribution. And maybe if you have young employees, let's say you own a restaurant, and if you're looking really to adopt the plan to benefit you as the owner, then there's some limitations there that you'd be able to skirt around being able to having to contribute to employees. So that's the SEP IRA. There's a couple of downfalls. So some of the cons would be you can't take loans against a SEP IRA. In addition, you can't take loans, but you also don't be able to you can't contribute as an employer as well. So it's only an employee contribution, not an employer contribution, if it's to yourself. And then in addition, you can't take loans. There's the contributions are fully vested 100%. I'm blanking on one here. There's no Roth portion to a SEP IRA. So you can't do after-tax contributions, which can be a really huge benefit to employees. If you are a sole owner of a business with no employees, or only 1099s, or employees that work under 20 hours a month, then you can adopt what's called a solo 401k. And this happens to be my favorite plan, particularly for So you can contribute up to the lesser of 100% of earned income, or $23,000 for 2024. And then in addition, you can do that 25% of earned income as the employer contribution, or again, if a sole proprietor, 20% of the earned income, for a grand total of $69,000, just like the SEP IRA. But you can also do a catch-up contribution. So if you're age 50 or over, you can do an additional $7,500 into the solo 401k, and then that would come out to be $76,500. On top of that, there's so many other benefits. So you can do a Roth portion to this account. So if you want to do some pre-tax money, some after-tax money, which again is a pretty good recommendation based on where you're at in your income levels for the year, you can have that flexibility of doing pre-tax and after-tax. You can also take loans out against your solo 401k. So you can take a loan out. You have to pay it back with a nominal interest rate, which only goes to pay yourself, and you have to pay it back over a 3-year period. But that loan can be really helpful. Say, for instance, if you are a real estate investor and you wanted to pull some of that money out, put it as a down payment on a brand new house. Within that 3 years, maybe take the equity back out of the house, keep your mortgage payment the same, put it back into your solo 401k. The options really are endless of what you can do with that money, but the point is there is that flexibility and the benefit to having the solo 401k. You can also do a self-directed solo 401k. So that means you could actually buy a physical piece of real estate property or business within that solo 401k. Now, there's a lot of complications that go along with that. There's some very strict rules and requirements. You lose some of the tax benefits of owning a business or real estate when it's in the 401k because you don't get those as write-offs. But there's the flexibility of being able to do it. In addition, you can take withdrawals that are not permitted until specified events. So, for instance, separation from service, some other kind of trigger, hardship withdrawals. So there's also some flexibility to withdrawals that fall within a certain amount of rules and requirements that can avoid that 10% penalty. You do have extra reporting that you have to do. There's a form called 5500 that needs to be reported to the IRS when balances get over $250,000. But so many benefits to the solo 401k. So you can already see that there's a lot more flexibility, a lot more options with the solo 401k versus the SEP IRA. And really, for the most part, the same goes for both the safe harbor and the 401k. So with both of those, you're going to have employees. There's typically going to be a requirement to those who are employees and being able to and having to contribute to them, but you can put on what's called a vesting schedule. And with a vesting schedule, they have to work for a certain amount of time. They have to make a certain amount of money per year. For instance, you're not able to participate in the plan until you reach 2 years of service or X amount of money, and then that money would become vested and become the employee's money. But again, it's a great way to attract employees to your business, is having both the safe harbor 401k or a traditional 401k. With the safe harbor, you don't have as much flexibility as what you contribute to the participants' plans, so your employees' plans. With just a traditional 401k, the employer has full discretion whether or not to contribute into their 401k plan. So really, the vesting schedule is there for the safe harbor plan. Both of them, though, the employer, as long as it is not top heavy, can fully benefit from the plans as well. And so those are some of the distinctions there. If you want this, there's a lot more detail on the sheet that I'm going through on the YouTube video. But what I would say is your options really, if you're a solopreneur, is the SEP IRA or the solo 401k. There are administration costs to a solo 401k, typically in the range of about $1,800 per year. But again, the benefit being on the employer side, it does not matter what you're paying yourself in payroll. You can contribute up to the maximum of $23,000 as the employee. With a SEP IRA, you can only contribute up to 25% of your gross income, period. So if you're using an S-Corp strategy where you're only paying yourself third or roughly, a portion of your gross income in payroll, and then the rest is being taken out as owner's distributions, which is a really great strategy. It limits you with the SEP IRA because it's only 25% of your wages. So what you paid yourself in payroll. So if you're paying yourself a minimal amount in payroll, you're not going to really be able to maximize or get up to that $69,000 that you can put into it for 2024. However, on the solo 401k side, you can put in the maximum as an employee, regardless of what your income is, as long as your income, what you are paying yourself, is over 23,000. You could put in 23,000 on the employee side, and then the employer contribution would be 25% of the wages that you paid yourself as the S corp. So there's some other additional considerations there. However, both are great options. If you have employees, you're going to want to go with a SEP IRA. If you don't have employees, the solo 401k is great. If you have employees and you really want to be able to provide them a benefit and attract and retain employees to your company, then you're probably going to want to choose a safe harbor 401k or a traditional 401k. So I hope that shines a little bit of light and a little less confusion around which retirement plan is the best, how you're going to save money in taxes, which plans you're going to be benefiting from the most. So typically, if you're just looking to benefit as the owner, you're probably going to want to do a solo 401k, or if you have employees, a SEP IRA. If you are looking to attract and retain employees, then you're probably looking at the safe harbor or the traditional 401k. I hope that gives you a little bit more insight and creates a little bit less confusion around small business owner retirement plans. Because oftentimes, analysis paralysis, you don't know what to do. So you often then just don't take any steps at all. So this is going to help you really kind of narrow down which one makes the most sense based on your particular position. I would also talk to a certified financial planner such as myself, or if you happen to have a certified financial planner, they'll help you be able to make a decision, as well as any really qualified CPA. I hope that made sense for you guys. I look forward to talking to you guys soon. We'll do a couple more of these as we continue on. So I'll get into the nitty gritty of some additional financial strategies and various different things that pertain to small business owners. And we'll also be getting some other great entrepreneurs onto the show to help shine a light on their story and their journey and what they're doing to really help them drive their growth personally and professionally. Take care.